Traders, welcome to day 5 of the Master Your Trading Mindset movement. If you're checking in for the first time, let me just recap. Every day through December, I am doing a video to help each and every single one of you master your trading mindset. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because everybody knows the importance of trading mindset. You know, you hear that common quote thrown around that trading is 90% mindset, etc., etc. But I'm afraid most people aren't putting the time, energy, and effort into empowering, into education, into the tools that will help them master their trading mindset. Mainly probably because traders don't know how to do that. Traders don't know what education, traders don't have the tools to be able to master their trading mindset. So I want to spread the awareness over the 30 days. We're currently on day 5. I want to pass on some cutting edge education, some cutting edge tools to help you master your trading mindset to ensure that 2023 is your most successful year yet. Now, please share the videos with friends, with trading friends in your community on social media. Tag the Master Your Trading Mindset Instagram page so we can get the awareness out there. We get as many people involved in this movement so that heading into 2023, traders have empowered their mindset and they're in the best possible position to scale, to do incredible things in 2023. Now, in day 5 today, we're talking all about the monkey mind and how to control it, how to manage it. Management is probably a better word than control. I'm going to be sharing what aggravates the monkey mind within us. We could also call it the chimp. We could call it the amygdala. We could call it the emotional part of the brain. I'm going to be passing on insights on what aggravates it from a psychological perspective. I'm also going to be giving you some actionable tools to help manage the monkey mind, the chimp, to ensure you're making the best possible decisions yet, to ensure that you're not highly emotional and volatile as a trader, but you're poised, you're present, you're patient, and you're making the best possible decisions according to your trading plan, which is ultimately what's going to yield consistent profitability. It's the consistent execution of your trading plan that yields you consistent profitability. It's the monkey mind that takes you away from trading your trading plan, and that is ultimately what's going to kill consistency. So this is a key lecture that we're going to be discussing some key insights to ensure that you have consistent profitability in 2023. So let's get into it. Now, first and foremost, the 2 U's, I really want to cover this. To simplify neurology or the brain and its role in decision-making and risk management, really the 2 key parts of the brain that are essential for traders to know and to know how to manage and to understand what is actually going on, the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. Now, I'm going to give you a completely summarized version of these 2 things. I'd encourage you to do more research on these 2 areas of the brain. I've got more YouTube videos covering these particular things. I also talk about them in detail in the 12-week program. But you have your monkey mind, which is the amygdala. This is the emotional part of your brain that's responsible for survival. And let's quickly touch on this. We talked about it in day 4 yesterday. But if a car is about to hit you, your amygdala, your monkey, your survival response is essential. If someone's going to come at you with a knife, your amygdala, your monkey is responsible for getting adrenaline up in your body into a fight or flight response. So you can either, if you perceive yourself being able to fight this threat, you fight them. If you perceive yourself better off running away, you'll run away. So your monkey is essential for survival, right? But 99.9% of the time, we're not in life-threatening situations. We don't actually need to survive. We've transcended a lot of those immediate survival stages that Maslow and Kohlberg talk about. And we're, as traders, we're needing to have the higher functions of our brain activated to make better decisions. So what I'm trying to communicate here is, as a trader, if you're sitting at your desk and you've got a house around you and you're pretty safe in your environment, then your amygdala isn't necessarily all that useful. You're better off having a great process, a great system, great risk management, and then having your prefrontal cortex activated so it can make the most wisest strategic decisions according to your system, according to your plan. Because your monkey is going to push you and accentuate fear and greed responses. It's going to take you away from your trading plan. It's going to make you think about the outcome. It's going to make you an addictive, impulsive gambler, which is obviously over a long period of time, not what's going to yield you profitable results as a trader. The other part of your brain is what I'm going to label human. It's the prefrontal cortex. It's the strategic part of your brain that's responsible for executive planning and execution, which is essential as a trader to have consistent results. It's responsible for thrival as an individual. Now, these are the two functions of your brain that are most useful for traders to know. And your brain literally allocates resources, blood glucose and oxygen, depending on what it perceives as necessary. So let me give you an example. If you don't have the proper tools, the proper understandings, the proper things in place, and you take a loss in the market, your brain's going to perceive that as a threat, and it's going to think back to, and it's going to have the same response that fired thousands of years ago for our ancestors when they were faced with a saber-toothed tiger, as it's the same thing that's going to fire. Adrenaline's going to run through your body, and you're going to have a fight or flight response if you haven't put the proper things in place to manage losing. And I actually talked about this yesterday in a little bit more detail, so make sure you check out that video if you haven't already, day 4. So the whole point of this video is to give you an understanding of your monkey, the amygdala, and to give you tools and processes and an understanding to be able to manage and quiet down the monkey when it would normally fire as a survival response, but it's not necessary anymore, right? Because losing is part of the probability model. We have to learn how to face losing and not be reactive to it, and not have those survival responses, those threat responses firing as our monkey so wants to do after we take a loss. And I'm going to show you tools and processes to help reallocate, let's say, blood glucose and oxygen to activate the prefrontal cortex, the thrival part of your brain, the part of the brain that's responsible for strategic thinking, execution, process-based thinking, and sticking to your trading plan, which is essential for consistent profitability as a trader. And believe it or not, a lot, if not all my YouTube videos and every single process in the 12-week program, I give you the actual tools and the accountability in the 12-week program. If those processes are completed, they actually play a role in reallocating blood glucose and oxygen to the more advanced part of your brains, the prefrontal cortex, and actually build up associations to have that part of your brain firing and actually quiet down the more emotional amygdala part of your brain. So each of those processes, and I have students who go through that program, they do the tools, and they're noticing in the markets that they're less reactive to losses. They feel less pain towards losing, which allow them to go back to their trading plan. They've expanded their awareness of losing, which I talked about yesterday, so they no longer see it as a negative, bad thing, but they see the advantages in losing. And they learn to quiet down that survival response when they're trading so they can go back to making process-based decisions. And those are ultimately the traders that build consistent profitability and start to scale quite heavily. But let's go into talking about this in a little bit more detail. Now, the problem here is the monkey's not a great trader. So like I mentioned, we need to learn to manage, quiet down, mitigate the monkey response, the amygdala response. And like I mentioned, the monkey is designed for survival. It reacts to external stimuli. That's what it does, right? And what it does is it tries to avoid pain and it tries to seek after pleasure. And that's a survival response. Now, you have to keep in mind that as a trader, we don't want to be avoiding losing and we don't want to be seeking after winning, because nobody actually knows what's going to happen next in the market in your probability sequence, and losing is an essential part of that probability sequence. So if we're trying to avoid the unavoidable and trying to seek after the unattainable, let's say, we're going to create a lot of stress in our trading, and we're going to go into outcome-based thinking, which is going to have a whole host of problems, and it's going to take us away from our trading plan. Because we're going to be run by fear, we're going to be too fearful to act in the market, we're trying to avoid pain, and that may mean sometimes we're going to go away from our trading plan. Or we're going to be trying to seek after the pleasure of winning, we're going to be greedy in the market, which is going to take us away from trading our trading plan. So we need to learn how to quiet down this impulse and instinct, this impulse to pleasure and instinct away from pain, to be consistently executing on our trading plan. And that's what we're going to talk about. Now, a monkey can't stick to a plan. You'll know, as I've experienced in my journey as well, and will continue to experience, because this is an ongoing thing. You have to continue to utilize the tools and put things in place to manage the monkey. When you're red hot, you're emotional, and your monkey's in charge, and your amygdala is fired up, it's very difficult to make rational decisions. It's very difficult to go to your trading plan. And this is a lot of the times where the overtrading kicks in. This is where the spiraling of losses and taking unnecessary position kicks in, because the monkey's in control now. It can't stick to a plan. It just has a mind of its own. And you may have experienced that in your journey. I know I have, where you feel yourself being hijacked by your own lower functions, your own amygdala, and you make irrational decisions that you later regret. So by putting the solutions we're going to talk about in this lecture in place, we're going to mitigate that. We're going to manage that. Now, your monkey, I'm going to make a statement here, is responsible for most of your trading mindset issues, if not all. So by implementing what I talk about in this lecture, by implementing what I explain in detail in the 12-week program, you're going to learn how to mitigate and quiet down what is responsible for most of your trading challenges. So this is a very high leverage place to focus if you're focusing on trading mindset. Now, before we get into the solutions, I want to cover a couple things that actually aggravate the monkey. So you need to be aware of these things before you go into the markets. And it's important to have an understanding of this, because if you know how to not put things in place that aggravate your monkey, you can, as a preventative measure, you can be aware that, you know what, this would actually aggravate the amygdala. It will fire it up. It will fire up that survival response. So I'm going to be acutely aware of these things when I'm trading. The first thing that aggravates the monkey, I'm going to use an analogy here, pretty silly, but hopefully you'll get the message across. If you give a monkey a banana, you'll be able to see its response. It's very elated, it's very happy, right? And the moment you do that, if you give it something that's pleasurable, then simultaneously it's going to create a fear of losing that particular thing. It's now going to create a fear of losing the banana, for example. Same thing when you're trading. The moment you set an expectation and you put in front of yourself this pleasurable reward of winning in the market, this positive outcome, and we create this fantasy in our mind of having that particular thing, then simultaneously we're going to create the fear of losing that. And we're going to be on edge. We're going to have volatilities in our mind that we have this very pleasurable thing, and simultaneously we fear losing that thing. And if that thing doesn't actually come into fruition, we're going to have a lot of pain. They're pairs of opposites in our mind. And this is what emotional volatility is. It's an addiction to one side, usually the positive side, the pleasure, which simultaneously creates the pain of not having that. And we swing back and forth. And that's what stress and emotional volatility is as a trader. So we need to be acutely aware of the unrealistic expectations or fantasies we create of the outcome. And you'll know that, and you can just look back over your previous trades. I guarantee the most painful trades you experience are because of the loss in your mind, the perception of loss of the fantasies and unrealistic expectations you were projecting before you got into that position. The most painful losses aren't the ones usually that lose you money, the ones that lose you the fantasies that you were projecting onto the market. For example, this is the trade that's going to get me my funded account. This is the trade that's going to get me the glory and the recognition in my community that I so deserve. This is the trade that's going to hit a certain milestone in my trading. Now, when you lose the trade, you lose a certain percentage, you lose a certain dollar amount. Usually that's quite low. That's quite low relative to your account balance, usually around 1%. So it's not all that painful. The painful thing is losing all the fantasies, the funded account, the glory, the recognition. That's the painful part, because we associate so much pleasure to it, then losing it's very painful. So by setting that initial expectation, you leave yourself vulnerable to firing up that survival response of the monkey. The fear, the pain of losing, etc., etc. These all come from the initial expectations and fantasies we project onto the market. Again, we talked about this yesterday, so it's a reoccurring thing. You'll see a reoccurring theme in my videos, because it's an important thing to bring to surface. The other thing that aggravates the chimp, your monkey mind, is unaddressed and unresolved, subconsciously stored baggage. And what I mean by this is, if you have a lot of experiences in the past in your mind of this loss was painful, this loss was negative, this loss was bad, this loss was challenging, all these negative associations to losing. Now, when you have something currently that reminds you of a previous experience that has all these associations of negative, the moment it comes into your perception, it's going to be compared to that subconsciously stored baggage in your mind, and you're going to have the same response as you did prior. So the more stuff you have unresolved in your mind over losing is bad, or when I lost all this money, I have all this guilt associated with losing money, or have all this pain associated with losing money, the moment any experience currently reminds you of something remotely similar to those previous experiences, you're gonna have those same associations firing, again, because of a survival response. We talked about this yesterday. So you need to be aware of these things. Now I'm gonna give you a little exercise you can do in this lecture, but if you really wanna go dig deep and address the subconsciously stored stuff that's usually keeping traders away from consistent profitability, I cover this in detail in the 12-week program. We currently have a 7-day free trial, so jump in the description and get involved in that, because I teach you the actual step-by-step process. I give you the tools, I give you the walkthrough, I give you the accountability to ensure that you go in there and you address any unaddressed stuff so you can free yourself up and you can get back to trading as best you can. So keep those two things in mind. It's the unrealistic expectations and the outcome, the fantasies we project into the market, and all this unaddressed subconsciously stored baggage that actually aggravate the monkey mind and accentuate emotional volatilities as a trader. So the solution, I want to give you 4 key solutions today that you want to be implementing straight away. The first one here is you want to manage your expectations on the outcome. Okay, you've heard me talk about this before, but it's so crucial. I created the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool to help you do this, right? It's gonna help you have self-awareness before you get into a position of what type of decision am I making. Am I making an outcome-based decision based on what I think is going to happen with all these fantasies that I've created in the virtual market that I'm projecting and expecting from the market? Or am I making a decision because the market has presented an opportunity that aligns with my criteria, my trading plan? If you can just differentiate between those two decisions, you're going to level up your results completely. You're going to have so many less emotional volatilities in your trading, and you're going to be on track for consistent profitability because you're sticking to your plan. You're not being run by this virtual market and by these fantasies in your mind. So go into the description if you haven't already, download the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. If you already have that downloaded and you've watched the lesson there, start using it before every single trade you take. I guarantee if you catch and ground unrealistic expectations on the outcome, and you're aware of that, and you ground them and you question them before you get into a position, you have that self-awareness, which the tool helps you build, then you're gonna mitigate a lot of your emotional responses. You're gonna quiet down the monkey, you're gonna put the human in charge in your brain, you're gonna be making better decisions as a trader. The second thing that's very simple to do, but will have a huge impact on quieting down the monkey and putting the human in charge, is having a clear process-based trading plan. Right? Step-by-step process that allows you to remove any guesswork or any emotional work before you take a trade, and you've got it listed out, bullet points, step by step, will help quiet down the monkey and will help put the human in charge. This is exactly why pilots use checklists. This is exactly why surgeons use checklists. It's because it helps them remove any emotional decisions that could be run by the monkey and could be later regretted, and it helps put the higher functions of the brain in charge, making better decisions. The third thing you can do is meditation. Meditation is a great tool to help you build self-awareness and to help you quiet down any unnecessary noises or emotional volatilities in the mind, because you give yourself time to integrate yourself when you meditate. So you can be doing this before you trade. You can be using meditation after you take losses and you feel yourself getting red hot. This is a potential strategy for some traders to make sure you quiet down that monkey mind so you can get back to your processes. But ultimately, you want to be making sure you've managed your expectations and you have a clear trading plan, because meditation is just a little bit more of an icing on top. It's a great strategy to snap you out of certain thought processes and get you back to process-based thinking. But ultimately, you have to be going in, if you're not addressing the root cause, which is the expectations and the subconsciously stored baggage, you're going to be meditating a lot, but you're just going to be patching it up with a Band-Aid. So I tend to see meditation more of a Band-Aid solution, because you need to go back and really address the root cause, which is the expectations and the subconscious mind. But the meditation is a great way to snap out of certain thought processes that keep you spiraling. So keep that in mind. The fourth thing here that you really need to do to quiet down the monkey is you need to go back and you need to address previous losses and previous wins. Again, if you have a lot of negative associations to losing, you have a lot of positive associations to winning, you're going to want to seek after winning, you're going to want to avoid losing, you're going to disrupt your edge, you're going to go away from your processes. Your monkey, your survival response is going to be heightened. You're going to be an impulsive, addictive gambler who just wants to win and can't stomach losing, and you're going to disrupt your edge because you're not giving yourself permission to just execute on your trading plan, because your trading plan sometimes needs to lose. You need to take losses based on a probability model, okay? So you need to go in there and address the subconsciously stored baggage. I gave an exercise yesterday that you want to go back to your most painful losses and find how they served and benefited you. Not make anything up, but just look. How do they hold you accountable? How do they help you grow? Do they make you more teachable? Do they humble you because you're a little bit elated projecting onto the market? Was there a catalyst and motivation to go back to refine your plan? Was there a catalyst and motivation to reach out and learn more about yourself and develop as a trader? And you want to go and find the drawbacks to winning. Did winning puff you up in a state of pride and take you away from your trading plan? Did winning close you down from being open and teachable and continuing to learn? You want to start to see both sides of winning and losing so you can transcend the judgment on that, and that will help quiet down the monkey, put your strategic part of the brain in place. Now, I covered my full emotion masterclass to give you the tools and accountability to actually follow through and go in detail to do that exercise in the 12-week program. We get amazing results with that exercise. Traders, it's usually their favorite and most transformative part of the 12-week program, where they go in and address a lot of the unaddressed stuff that's actually, without them knowing, impacting their trading. So those are 4 key tools and solutions that you want to be implementing to help quiet down the monkey, to help put the more strategic parts of your brain in control, in the pilot seat, because that's ultimately what will help you make the best possible decisions according to your plan and will help you build consistent profitability. Now, the ideal, you want to truly embody process-based thinking, like I mentioned yesterday. Implementing the solutions will help manage, quiet down the monkey and put the human in charge. It's going to take the blood glucose and oxygen away from the amygdala. It's going to put it into the prefrontal cortex. Your brain's going to actually reallocate resources to help put the more strategic parts of your brain in place. And you'll find yourself a more poised and patient trader. You'll be more calm in the market, and you'll be able to make better strategic decisions according to your plan. You'll have more self-control and more self-discipline. You'll be able to say no to positions that don't align with your trading plan, and you'll just spontaneously act when trades do. These are powerful solutions if you implement them, and they'll help you truly embody process-based thinking, which is ultimately what's going to help you get consistent results. You're going to start to think like this. You're going to start to say, I don't really care about the outcome of the next individual trade. I'm taking this trade because it aligns with my trading plan. I know that's going to yield me profitable results over 100, if not 1,000 trades. You're going to be more patient, you're going to be more poised, you're going to build more consistent profitability in your trading. Okay, so a bit of a summary here. The monkey is essential for survival, but it's not essential for thrival. You don't want it running your trading. You want it helping you jump away from the car that's about to hit you. That's great, keep the monkey for that, but you don't want the monkey in charge when you're trading and dealing with capital, and you have a trading plan that you need to follow. So to help facilitate the most successful trading, you want to manage your expectations prior to trading. Download that Bulletproof Your Mindset tool in the description. Have a clear trading plan and utilize meditation if necessary. Transcend the judgment on the outcome. That's super, super key. We talk about that in detail in the 12-week program. And this will help you truly embody process-based thinking. So if you resonate with this particular lecture, please subscribe, turn on notification bells, like, comment your best parts about the lecture. Check in tomorrow, day 6 of the Master Your Trading Mindset movement. Share it with friends, share it in your trading community, share it on your Instagram and socials to get as many people involved in this movement as possible. If you resonate with this lecture, please check out the free 7-day trial to the 12-week program. That's a mind blower, but I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thanks for checking in, and we'll speak soon.